I think the entire veteran community is in agreement on this one.
Yeah.
It is the change of sleep apnea from 50 to 0%. And I'll explain that fairly quickly here. I'll shoot it over to you, and then I'm going to pull up plantar fasciitis because it's a really good example of why the VA has done what they're doing. That was a mouthful. What the VA is going to do for sleep apnea, it's not new. It's not the first time. They've always done it. And I'll show you that with plantar fasciitis. But long story short, if a veteran can use a CPAP, or not just CPAP's the most common, if they have a mouth guard, the mouth tape stuff, whatever. I don't have sleep apnea, okay? Whatever it is people are using for sleep apnea. If it works, the VA's argument is that there's no impact to their ability to obtain employment, or there's no impact to their occupational life. Hence, that's why we get VA compensation, in case you're wondering. Since the treatment works, therefore, you rate 0%. Does that suck? That answer is yes, it does. I like to go against the grain on most things. I try to find arguments that would make it make sense outside of it not impacting your job, right? And that, although that makes sense, veterans aren't going to be happy about it. But that's essentially the crux. Jason, I'm going to kick it over to you, and then I'm going to look up this plantar fasciitis and pull it up.
Yeah, this one's very irritating, and I'm going to throw out there to folks because this is usually, and I think I could speak for you as well, Clay. Usually when we talk about these changes specific to sleep apnea, the comments are vast. Or not. There's so many comments about, hey, do I need to be worried? Am I going to lose my sleep apnea rating? That type of stuff. The answer is no. The VA will not reduce you solely based on a rating schedule change. So, and specifically from the announcement on these proposed changes, it says that I'm just going to read it to you real quick, just so folks understand that the VA is doubling down on it. They're not going to. So it says, once again, there will be no change to any veteran's current rating based on these proposed changes. When the proposed changes are finalized, veterans who currently receive compensation for a service-connected condition can apply for an increase in compensation if they deem necessary. And even if a veteran's symptoms no longer warrant the current evaluation they have based on the finalized changes, no reductions, okay, this is the important part, no reduction shall be made unless an improvement in the veteran's disability is shown to have occurred based on the last schedule used to assign their evaluation. So if you got assigned on you got a CPAP and you got 50%, that's the rating schedule you were assigned on. And as long as you didn't magically, you don't need a CPAP anymore. If you still need a CPAP, you're still 50%. So don't worry about it. What I'm going to say real quick, Clay, on this is, I think that even if it is deemed adequate, the treatment with a CPAP, I mean, still that you mean to tell me that your life is not impacted at all because you have to wear an apparatus all night long? Come on. I don't know. I don't agree. I'm with dropping to a 0 for sure. And I get it that they say that they're using, all these different kind of, criteria to determine that it doesn't affect somebody's life. But I'm pretty sure you could talk to people with sleep apnea and they'd be like, oh yeah, it sucks. And if it didn't impact you, you wouldn't say it sucks. You go, oh, that's fine. That's nothing. Yeah. So anyway, this is a horrible thing that it's the freight train that's coming for folks, and it's for the new people, right? It's for the people that are going to be filing in the years to come. And what's sad to me, Clay, is that usually we talk about conditions that cause secondaries, but there's a lot of conditions that cause sleep apnea. And now it's like, oh, well, you're treated just fine with this CPAP or what have you. So you get a 0%. So there's going to be a lot of folks, I believe, out there that are just going to get completely, it'll be the new normal, right? It's the new normal will be, yeah, you just get 0 for sleep apnea. They're not even going to, 5 years from now, this doesn't mean anything. But this transition period sure means something. And I will tell you that if you've ever had boots thrown at you in the middle of the night, if you've ever had people saying, no, I don't want to sleep with that guy, as you're having to share a room or share a tent or whatever, sharing that barracks room or whatever, or if your spouse says, go sleep in the other room, anything like that, you may have sleep apnea and you just don't even know it. So, if you get woken up saying, hey, I thought you died in the middle of the night, you might have sleep apnea. Go get a sleep study and start that process and see if you can get it service connected, either as a direct service connection or as a secondary to another condition that you may have, or due to maybe some sort of prescription. Some medications like opioids can cause issues with brain signals and breathing and all of that type of stuff. So there could be a road there. And my suggestion is, look, throw out an intent to file, start working on that, go do a sleep study, see if you have sleep apnea. I mean, my dad, he's 70 and he just got diagnosed for sleep apnea, and he's been like a horrible snorer and all those things for years and years and years. And finally he went and got a sleep study and figured that out. So don't delay, just go do it. What's the worst case scenario? No. That's actually a good thing. No, you don't. You snore or whatever. Anyway, back over to you.
Yeah, I think the bottom line up front for veterans is, and this is the beauty about American medical experts, if you call them today, within the next 2-3 days, you're going to get a call and you can get that Nexus letter fast. Okay. That's why AME is critical. And I think that matters for sleep apnea right now. I will tell you this, if I'm not at 100% and I have sleep apnea, or if I think I have it, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to get a sleep study, I'm getting Nexus letter, and I'm filing secondary. All right, secondary to mental health is probably the most common. I have seen a few secondary to tinnitus there. I'm not sure on what that pathology looks like, but it obviously exists. Secondary to other respiratory issues, secondary with obesity as an intermediate step. That's a very strong argument to make. And so just bottom line up front, if that's you, like now is the time, really applies to sleep apnea more so than mental health and tinnitus, because we can kind of wait those out. I don't think we can wait out sleep apnea. It has to be right now. And again, these changes are to an existing criteria. If they were creating a new diagnostic code like they did for GERD and IBS, we would have that notice, that 60-day notice, so to speak. The VA does not have to do that with these because it's an existing criteria. They're just deleting some words, adding some words. That's it. So straight up ripping the Band-Aid off. That's what matters the most. Now,
let's throw this out there real quick before you talk about the plantar fasciitis stuff. Look, I'm just thinking of Vietnam era folks, right? So Vietnam era folks, let's say that you have sleep apnea and you're wondering, how can I get this thing connected? Conditions like high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes can increase the risk of sleep apnea. So if you were in Vietnam, presumptives are hypertension, high blood pressure, and diabetes. So you have two presumptive conditions that if you haven't filed for those, you need to be filing for those. And then sleep apnea would be a secondary to those, increasing the risk. So there is a lot of different paths is the way. And I'll tell you this. And again, this is one of the reasons why we started evidence-based VA claims, is because there are so many different versions of the story. We could give 1,000 examples with different situations, different times in service, different factors, different this, different that, that you need to have somebody who's listening to you with your specific story and really digging in deep. So if that's the type of help you need, we're available. Our team is primed up and ready to go. All right, back over to you, Clay.
Yeah, so I want to review. A lot of people say, "Why is the VA doing this? Why is the VA doing that?" They've always done this. It's the same. So here's plantar fasciitis, and you can tell it's treatment based. Meaning, if you have plantar fasciitis and you have no treatment, I don't care how bad it is, you're going to rate 10%. Okay. It's treatment that gets you a higher rating. In terms of plantar fasciitis, it's the failure of treatment, right? So no relief from both surgical, non-surgical, and surgical. So you've done both. 2 feet, 1 foot. It's the failure of treatment. For sleep apnea, Jason, it's the opposite. It's the treatment is working. Positive treatment. I don't really know what word to use there.
Yeah.
The point is, it's the treatment. It's still treatment based. And if the treatment works, you now get a lower VA rating, which absolutely sucks. Now, for sleep apnea, that's definitely a punch in the face. But I'm glad you brought up hypertension because that kind of escaped my mind. I think Vietnam veterans have been punched in the face a billion times. And hypertension is a great example, okay? Hypertension is a condition that will kill you, right? At best, you survive and then you develop kidney conditions, diabetes, heart conditions. You might have a stroke. That's like best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you die, right? So hypertension already just sucks. That there's really no other way to say that. And if your medication controls that, you get 0%. So the VA has always done this. I think sleep apnea is like the GWAT era, being punched in the face. It's the GWATs for heavy particulate matter, burn pit stuff. A lot of GWAT veterans have sleep apnea. I think sleep apnea is like our Vietnam era hypertension, if you will. So that doesn't make it better, but for a frame of mind, it's not new. The VA has always punched veterans in the face. Would be a good way to say it. In a as laughable of a manner that we can possibly make that. Right. Now, I do want to hit on the criteria specifically, and I'm going to paraphrase here. It's not just that the treatment works. The way the criteria is written, it takes self-reporting completely off the table, which is the VA doubling down on punching in the face, right? Yeah. So now you can't just say, "Hey, doc, my PTSD keeps me from sleeping with my CPAP mask." Or you can't say, "Hey, my contact dermatitis, right? My acne, my pseudo-Barbe, whatever it's called, keeps me from wearing my mask." That means nothing. Still, PTSD. But per the criteria, there's 2 factors. One of those is it must be determined by sleep study. Okay. And if you're not having a night terror and ripping that thing off on the sleep study, guess what? The sleep study did not determine it. So welcome to 0%, which really sucks. So that's one factor. The second factor is the opinion of a medical provider. And it has to be both. It's not either or. It must be both. And what does that mean for new veterans who are going to submit that? It means that you have to do a sleep study. And if your sleep study is positive for, like, you get diagnosed with sleep apnea, the next factors are, okay, well, what happened during your sleep study? Did you wake up in a panic and just yeet it across the floor, right? Did you wake up and your acne or dermatitis or whatever you have going on, was it aggravated? Those are factors that are going to play in if you can or can't wear your mask. I want to be clear here. I'm going to say it like this for a reason. If you can't wear your mask because you're being a baby about it, the VA does not care, right? I'm only saying that to just kind of communicate what the VA is saying. It has to be actual, real, legit problems. Right. Again, we're being punched in the face. That's the best way I think I can describe it. Any last thoughts on sleep apnea? It's just a really good, bright topic to talk about.
Yeah. My only thought is that you said punch. I don't even know how many times, and you're wearing the appropriate shirt. So it's
Lilo and Fit. OG.
I mean, just nonstop.
Yeah. Right. So let's go ahead and talk about tinnitus.
Oh, I hate this one.
I think tinnitus, I think it goes both ways. I think it's situational. Where like sleep apnea, 100%, it's bad. I don't care who you are, it's bad. Mental health, we definitely have differing opinions. I hope I'm wrong. It's just one of those things where we're gonna have to wait like 2 years.
If you put in the comments who's right.
Yeah.